Hey everyone, it's the Inner Nerd, and in this video I'm going to be making Airfix's new Spitfire Mk.XIV FR. This video is sponsored by Last Enemy Clothing. Last Enemy specialise in clothing inspired by World War II fighter aircraft in their Aces of Aces collection, and were nice enough to send me a Spitfire themed t-shirt to go along with this build. The Aces of Aces collection currently includes t-shirts featuring the most famous World War II fighters such as P-51, ME-109 and the Spitfire. The t-shirt is a high quality thick cotton, and one of the nicest features is the fully embroidered emblems of the Spitfire Mk.XIV, along with squadron details and an insignia on the arm. The full Aces of Aces range can be found on Last Enemy's website www.last-enemy.com, or use the link in the description below, which will take you straight there after the video. Also quote the discount code INNERNERD10 to get 10% discount on your order. Airfix sent me this kit as a pre-release review, which you can see in the following link in the card above. Although there are already a number of reviews highlighting the poor fit of this kit, I wanted to build it out of the box. This way I can show you exactly how the kit builds as Airfix has designed it. This way you'll see the kit builds without any major modifications to get any parts to fit together. Having said that, I did make some upgrades to the interior details by drilling out the cockpit structure, also opening up the slit for the seat belts. A pipette served as the perfect size for a headrest. I can't believe this wasn't moulded in already, and a detail I think Airfix may have missed, since it's included on our Mk.XIV kit, which I've actually built way back when I started the channel. The pedals were quite softly moulded, with the hole not fully opened on both parts. I had to drill those out too, and square them up with a scalpel. Adding some light chipping with a sponge I find is the best way to get a random effect. I brushed the excess off on a paper towel before applying it onto the model to reduce the blotching. I concentrate only around the areas where the pilot will have been entering the cockpit and keep the application light. There are no seatbelts supplied with the kit in either photo etch or decal form, so I made them out of tape strips and then threaded them through the slit I cut at the beginning. The instruments decal was pretty good, and beyond the detail I can manage with the brush, so I cut out and applied them individually from the decal sheet. The fuselage went together okay when following the instructions, but the edges were softly moulded, as you can see here. Then the problem started. The fuel tank cowling was neither the correct shape or size to fit into the gap. I'm not sure why Airfix has designed the kit in this way, because if you wanted to show off the engine, which doesn't come with the kit, then you'd have to cut away the engine cowling anyway, so why not cut the fuel tank one too? Otherwise a smoothly moulded cover is far better option. The lower part of the wing fitted okay. The rear area where it fillets into the fuselage had some gaps but could be closed with clamp. The instructions now call for the clip wings to be cut. As I was making a Mk.XIV, which had rounded tips, I ignored this stage. This is where problems arise when building straight from the bottom. The upper wings are not long enough to match the lower. For me, the port side was considerably shorter, leaving a bigger gap. The simple solution to this is to add filler to the gap and sand smooth. I use perfect plastic putty to do this. Step 38 shows the little Easter egg, or should I say chocolate bar, that you get with the pre-release kits. It even comes on its own 3D printed sprue and everything. Oh wait, hang on. Yeah, that's what you get for leaving it in the workshop all summer. Still tastes alright though. There is a targeting window in the kit as a clear part, but it seems to overscale, so I swapped it out using a scratch made window from evergreen clear styrene sheet. I use a black oil wash to highlight the rescribed panel lines so I can see them before the primer goes on. The rivet detail on the kit is pretty good, but there are more rivets to be added. I found a set of blueprints and printed them 1 to 1 and then measured out the locations on the model. I printed a 1 to 1 scale blueprint of the camouflage scheme and cut them out using this as a template to roughly mark the boundaries. I spray inside the panel lines to create a pre-shaded effect around each panel edge, keeping within the boundary of the camouflage area. Then I do a single blend coat with the thinner mix of the same colour to unify the surface and make panel lines less obvious. Then I apply the masks using the 1 to 1 print of the camo scheme as a template to cut the shapes. I tried to use a different pre-shading technique similar to zenithal light, where I use dark blue and white to create shadows and highlights between the different panels. To get an even spacing, I divided the invasion stripes into equal sections and used one piece of the tape to space the masks for the white areas. I always find walkway decals hard to apply, so I masked and painted them on instead. There's no scheme with invasion stripes included in the kit, so I got some aftermarket ones from Model Alliance, which included a Mk.XIV from the Korean War. The decals were excellently printed and extremely thin, but the instructions didn't show a plan or underside view of any aircraft included, which made the alignments on the wings a bit of guesswork and based purely off other Spitfires with similar schemes. Each RAF roundel was made up of two parts. The outer and the middle sections were applied first, followed by the red centre. I left the first layer to dry out before applying the red dot. This way the blue and white decal was secure before trying to align the centre exactly in the middle. Although the decals were very thin, they still witnessed on the surface. You can also see a slight orange peel effect on the gloss coats, which needs to be removed. I used 2000 grit sanding sponge to gently buff out the imperfections and flatten the gloss coats to get a smoother surface. This process may take some time, but results in a more even texture across the model. Next I move straight onto the oil washes to start the weathering. I begin with Ammo's neutral wash to get a dusty finish. Even with the buff surface, the wash will still flow down the panel lines without the need of a super glossy coat. I wait until the oils are touch dry and then remove with a dry paper towel. Next I cover the model in a layer of XF86 matte clear to prepare for the next stage of weathering. The flat clear allows more adhesion of the weathering products such as these Derwent watercolour pencils, which would not stick to a gloss or semi-gloss finish. I use a light grey pencil to create chipping around panel edges where the paint has worn away through handling, and then to get an older, more worn appearance, I highlight with a mid-tone brown in some areas. I also complete this on the insignias using the same pencils. This makes the markings less striking and new looking compared to the rest of the paint job. I apply the neutral wash again on areas that would be accessed by the crew and pilot to get a dustier effect made from boot prints and ammunition. Once all of the washes and chipping was finished, I work with oils to replicate fuel spills. I use Abtelung Industrial Earth and apply straight from the tube. Immediately after application I blended with a larger soft brush dampened with white spirit. This gives the paint around the spill a more stained look. Then I applied some more fresh spills to create a deeper effect. Before I applied the exhaust stacks, I drilled out the tip to add a little more detail to the otherwise plainly moulded part. To get the sooty burnished effect from the exhaust, I used a heavily thinned dark red brown which I mixed as a chipping colour on my Matilda tank build. I normally struggle with the soot application through an airbrush, so this time I used AK black pigment to apply the soot on top of the airbrush base. The pigment also gives a more sooty texture over an airbrush technique. Camouflage neutral wash was also used on the propeller to get a faded look. I kept this wash thin by adding more white spirit to blend it into the black. It still looked a little strong for my liking, so I removed some of the more concentrated areas with a sponge once the oils had dried out slightly. And with that, the kit is complete. Finally, we have an accurate alternative to Academy's Mark 14 released way back in 1996, but as a newly designed and moulded kit for 2019, I would have expected better, especially considering offerings for Eduard, which also come with PE editions if you get the Profi Pack versions, massively increasing the detail of the cockpit over the already more detailed moulding and parts breakdown. There's some clever engineering in this kit, but Airfix haven't quite pulled it off with this one. It'll require a lot of dry fitting and the part adjustment before it's even close to the fit and finish of an Eduard or Tamiya kit. I think I'll be leaving step 38 until the end and taking a break from Airfix for a good while yet. That's all from me, so I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now. If you enjoyed this video, why not take a look at some of my playlists by clicking the links on the screen, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.